Call me crazy, but I don't think it would be a stretch to say that the 76ers could very well end up with the best player in the 2025 draft, if they take VJ Edgecombe. I'm sure a lot of guys are immediately saying, what about Cooper Flagg? Settle down. But first, quickly hit that subscribe button. Thanks, fellas. I'm not saying that Edgecombe is the better prospect than Flagg, but he brings some attributes to the table that are nothing short of tantalizing. And I think that this kid could be a steal, even at 3rd overall. For starters, I think that there are 3 main reasons why Edgecombe is ranked behind both Flagg and Dylan Harper on basically all mock drafts. Those reasons include his 3-point shooting, his scoring ability in general, and his size. Of these 3 concerns, I think 2 of them are completely invalid, one of which is Edgecombe's 3-point shooting stroke. Yeah, Edgecombe finished his freshman season at Baylor at 34% 3-point accuracy and a .504 effective field goal percentage. Numbers that aren't horrible, but definitely don't stand out for a lottery pick. However, it was Edgecombe's slow start to his season at Baylor that really hurt his draft stock and had him chasing from behind for most of the season after entering as a 5-star recruit. If we exclude Edgecombe's first 9 games of the year and only look at his games beginning on December 11th against Norfolk State, we can see that Edgecombe shot nearly 37% from 3, with a 52% effective field goal percentage, shot over 80% from the 3-point line, and averaged over 16 points per game. Numbers that are actually very solid for a true freshman that was playing in one of the toughest conferences in the Big 12. His stroke is consistent, and Edgecombe was reliable in catch-and-shoot situations for Baylor this year. To me, Edgecombe has a high floor as a shooter. At worst, he's going to be an average shooter. And truthfully, this guy has the fluidity to develop into a real threat and a difference maker from beyond the arc.
Out to Edgecombe. Bang. Edgecombe from downtown. Yes! Splits the defense, gets a piece of the paint. Edgecombe. Corner 3 is good.
Yet his game at this point isn't predicted on shooting or scoring either at this juncture. At this point, Flagg and Harper are likely more evolved scorers. They have more control over the pace of the game in the half court and deserve to have higher usage rates than Edgecombe in 2024-25. But as an off-ball player on offense, Edgecombe might be the most dynamic of the 3. For instance, Edgecombe finished in the 93rd percentile in the NCAA this past season as an off-ball cutter, a stat that definitely shouldn't be overlooked. He loves forcing turnovers and uses his freakish athleticism to supplement his team with extra points in transition.
DeGrew loses it. Here's Edgecombe in the open court. Edgecombe. Madden has only one shot. Now it's slotted. Edgecombe the run out. Look out! Edgecombe gets a steal. Edgecombe switches and finishes.
Edgecombe is a hound on the offensive glass, giving his team extra possessions, which definitely can't be overlooked when looking at how he's going to contribute. Finally, his size. Edgecombe is measured at 6'4" and 192 pounds at the NBA Combine. As a shooting guard, slightly smaller than average, and his height would indicate that Edgecombe won't have positional versatility. In contrast, Flagg, Harper, and Ace Bailey are all guys that bring size advantages to their position, something that teams covet. But let's not let a couple of inches dictate Edgecombe's future in the league. Remember, Edgecombe measured in at the same height as both Dwayne Wade and Anthony Edwards. He's got that level of athleticism too. And he comes with tons of pedigree as a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. While he remains raw, I truly believe that the sky is the limit for him as a long-term prospect. In the meantime, Edgecombe is going to be the perfect role player, and that is exactly why Philadelphia needs him. If the Sixers enter next season healthy, they do have a bit of a logjam at the guard position. But if that is their reason for passing on Edgecombe and taking Ace Bailey, they would be making a huge mistake. Philadelphia still has some ball-dominant players with big contracts and even bigger egos. For them to have the opportunity to add a guy like Edgecombe, who can contribute in so many ways without the ball in his hands, is a blessing. As a perimeter defender, Edgecombe's quickness, explosiveness, and IQ likely make him the best prospect in the draft, and he prides himself on his abilities at the defensive end. He averaged over 2 steals per game this year for Baylor and nearly stole the ball on 4% of his team's defensive possessions. When you look at Oklahoma City's success this year, that in large was due to their rangy and active defenders on the perimeter. They led the league in plenty of hustle stat categories, such as loose balls forced and loose balls recovered on the defensive end. The Thunder's system of aggressive switching and blitzing is likely going to become the model for defensive systems moving forward. Guys like Alex Caruso, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, and Wallace are in higher demand than ever. And VJ Edgecombe is built to play in such a system. He's drawn plenty of comparisons to Rocket sophomore Amen Thompson due to his elite explosiveness and relentless pursuit on the offensive glass. Edgecombe is a guy that can find a way to make a difference for teams as a 19-year-old without needing to restructure your offense to get him looks. That is exactly what Philadelphia needs in the short term. By earning playing time with his hustle defense and intangibles, Edgecombe will get to quietly develop in the shadows of mentors like Maxey and Paul George. In a few years' time, his role expands. Who knows? Edgecombe could rise into a superstar in this league. In my opinion, he's got the package and the potential. While it was a painful year for Philadelphia fans, it could have very well been worth it. If they draft Edgecombe and he becomes the type of two-way difference maker that he has the potential to become, the 2024-25 season will be a blessing in disguise for the 76ers.